welcome to another episode of the Interesting Podcast. I'm your host, Ed Parcaut, and today I sit down with Matt Diamante of Hey Tony Agency. We're going to dive into the world of AI, digital marketing, and discuss how tools like ChatGPT are transforming business, content creation, and the future of agency. If you're curious about practical uses of AI and want advice from an expert, you won't want to miss this insightful conversation. Well, Matt Diamante, thank you so much for coming on the Inner Edison podcast. I appreciate you being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Now that we figured out you'd never been on my show before. We were talking, that's the problem at high level they need to fix is when you schedule an appointment and then you try to change it, it should move it like, Calendly would do, or do. It just doesn't do that well. And I've had it to where, I've had a free moment, which is great. So I'm hoping for extra recordings so I can, because otherwise I got to block off those calendars. In this podcast, I just checked, like right now I have 40 people wanting me to see if they want to come on.
Oh yeah.
But I'm already have 30, which I'm old school in the can. And then I'm booked out until November.
Hell yeah. Yeah. It was like March or something when I reached out. And we're in July at this point. I don't know if I can date the podcast.
You can, because it'll be weeks before you get out, so they'll know exactly what. And it's just what happens is I like Podmatch. You can find people on there, and as long as you're you make sure that they're people you want, it's great.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Matt, what's your background? I don't want a whole bunch of that.
Oh my God.
But I see this whole thing about Hey Tony Agency. I know your background is a musician.
I mean, I was in a band for a while back in the day, like not big,
What's
not known.
What does mean to you? Because you
like 2010.
Okay. Wow, that is really
2009.
Wow.
It's 15 years, dude. That's a long time ago.
Shit, I've been married for 20 years for the third marriage. So it's all relative.
Yeah, it's true. Back then. So I actually, I went to school for advertising because I was in a band, and this might be a little bit of a weird story, but my parents are like, you can't just sit at home and do nothing. Like, you have to go to college. And at the time I was in this band, we were like a pop punk band, not great, but we were a band, we had practice and stuff. And I was like,
gigs? Did you play?
Oh yeah, we played gigs all the time. We went door to door selling our CDs. Like, we did all the shit. But I was like, what can I do that will help the band for school? And I had already gone to school for heating and cooling, hated that. And I was like, advertising. I could use this 3-year advertising program, not only to buy me time, but to give me education on how to promote my band. And that's when I really fell in love with advertising and SEO and digital marketing and all of this kind of stuff. And the band kind of fizzled away, and that stuck.
And how long have you been doing the agency stuff?
The agency, I officially started in like 2017, but I'd been doing 4 or 5 years before that, just freelancing, working at big agencies, doing contract stuff here and there.
How are you dealing with the age of AI? And
I love it.
And everybody's saying agencies are going away.
Oh my God. I love AI. I use ChatGPT. My entire team uses ChatGPT every single day, all day. It has made our jobs so much easier. But in terms of replacing our jobs and like getting rid of agencies, I think we're a long ways away from that, because even if you give ChatGPT all the right inputs, like we were just talking about, it'll give you sometimes the wrong information. And if you don't have somebody to fact check that and double check that, and we do SEO, so if we're not putting all the right tags and the keywords in the right places and all this kind of stuff, then that piece of content is never going to get seen. So you might as well not even write it to begin with. But honestly, like I love AI. It makes everything so much easier and quicker. And it makes me sound a lot better.
Yeah, the way you talk and everything else. I use it for everything. I've been using it since it was face forwarding for us, November of 22. And I was doing stuff that other people like, well, I'm telling people what to do, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
And there's still people to this day who have not used it. I'm like, wow, how can you not get along without AI and using it in everything?
I was showing, I don't know if I can say this, but I will. I was showing my neighbors the ChatGPT app, and where it talks back to you and they're like, dude, did you set up that voice? I was like, no, that's just the voice that came with it. And it's like, man, she sounds hot. I was like, that person doesn't exist, dude. That's AI on the other end.
Right.
But it's so good. Like I was asking it about, so my one neighbor is really into like classic cars. So I was asking about the specific make and model and what years were those the best of that car created or, came off the production line. So ChatGPT tells us, and then I'm like, hey, Chat, where can I buy that car near here? Are there any for sale? And it's like, there's actually one, down the street or in the next town over for sale for $22,000 or whatever the price was. And they were just blown away. And I'm like, guys, this is very basic shit.
Yeah, that's nothing. How
Yeah.
it does. So we put in all concrete in our front yard, not all concrete, but we put in new concrete and then grass and everything else. And when we redid our porch, there's this post that would go right down in the middle of the new concrete. And my wife's like, there's no way. And she's like, figure it out. So I took pictures of it, asked ChatGPT, give me some ideas how to get rid of this, gave me 3 solutions. We did one of them and it actually designed the L-beam that I needed to do.
Hell yeah.
And so you still had to engineer because you still had the engineer to do it. But it gave me, instead of going, I don't know what to do, let's call people. It actually told me I couldn't. We have plantation shutters and my wife's dog likes to click and break them. And I needed the part for it. And I found a long time ago, Googling. And then I was like, I couldn't find it. So I took a picture of it. Same thing, sent it in, and ChatGPT told me exactly where to get it and ordered it within seconds. And that's just the basic need of it. There is so much. There's just so much you can do with it. I mean, you can create you. I mean, how are you supposed to be, and how is your company supposed to be? How are you supposed to be talking to your perfect clients, or avatar, they call it these days?
Yeah.
You can ask it to help you design all that. I remember I had it when I first got into it. I do another podcast. I know I keep saying that. Aces 53, which is about 4 aces and a joker, which has to do with sales. And I had it help me create a whole sales training program and the whole 9 yards, the marketing, the biz, everything you want to do with it that you need to do that you'd have to hire somebody for. And that's what people understand.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is $100,000 person you're hiring to do something for you, one job.
Yeah. And it does that. It does the job of like 10 people at $100,000. Like,
I'm saying that's how you have to look at it. It's like buying consulting companies who come and do certain things for you. These companies do, and they spend all this money, but you don't need to. You have this thing that will go do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just have to know how to ask it these questions.
So one of the prompts that I've been using, and it's been really helpful in terms of writing content, so writing blog posts, so to rank on Google, or even like ranking on ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever other LLMs people are using. And it's ask me questions that you would need to know the answers to in order to create the best piece of content possible using my stories, experiences, expertise, and all that kind of stuff. And then it'll come up with all these different questions, and you can do voice chat, answer the questions that way. You can type out the questions, and then once it does all that, it'll create an outline, or it'll create a blog post for you using your personal experience, your stories, like case studies, whatever you want, whatever you've talked about. It'll start using that in the content while educating people. It's insane.
Yeah. And once you use it, like I've used it for almost 25. So was that 3 years?
Yeah.
And almost 3 years. And it knows everything about me.
Yeah.
I don't even have to tell it anything anymore. It knows when I'm writing something, it knows exactly what to grab and put in there for me. I just tell it what I'm trying to do. I'm in the mortgage industry, and we have these stupid letters of explanations that we have to write for stupid stuff. And I created an actual prompt. You just one of those GPT prompts, and I just drop in what the underwriter wants, and sometimes I answer it and sometimes I don't, and it just makes that letter for us, and that's just saves so much time in writing and everything else. And I use it so much. If I have something to talk to a client about, I just drop it in there, have it write it for me, and I send off the email that would take me a half hour to come up with.
So I have a question for you. Do you feel like, because we're like really pumping up ChatGPT right now and AI and how great it is, do you feel like it's making people dumber?
Of course it is. It's making people who've never done stuff dumber. They'll never know. It's different. It's like, prime example. if I've been in this work, going to work for years, right? I've been in the mortgage industry 27 years. So that means 20 years I've been going to an office.
Yeah.
If you work from home, for me, it's no big deal. I've been to the office. I know work. I know how to do stuff. But if you're a young person who's never been in the office and you're going to work from home, it doesn't work. You need to be in the office. So the question to your statement is, you go get a language degree and then use that to go forward. So you know how things should look and write, and then that way you sound better, even higher up better. But yeah, it is making people. Well, I mean, half the people now are stupid. I don't mean that wrong. My kids went to a local high school, and my son was he just got back from a deployment in Korea, and we told our older daughter, and she says north or south. I said, okay, first of all, hon, if it was to the north, that would not be a deployment. That would be invasion.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a different story.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is some of these, it doesn't mean yes, but it will help you get the information you need to sound better. It'll help you to be able to get the job you need. The question is going to be is how going forward, how is these people going to be? And that's why right now a coding job, a decoding degree is not worth anything compared to a liberal arts degree.
Yeah.
Just so weird. It's complete opposite for so long ago.
Yeah. It's, I do feel like it's going to be almost expected that that anybody and everybody applying for a job or working has experience and knows how to use ChatGPT and prompts and all this stuff, similar to how people are like, I'm saying back in the day, but go to college, get a degree, get a certificate, get whatever it is. And now everybody has it. So it's like, that's the base level, right? What's the next step on top of that when it comes to AI, ChatGPT, whatever?
I look at it as like, do you know how to use Office? Do you know how to use Excel? Do you know how to use Word? Or the Apple versions of all those?
Yep.
That's ChatGPT now. That is the same thing. You need to be, do you know how to write? Do you know how to do this? Well, you need to be able to ask certain things. And people are shocked what it can create. It can create some amazing stuff if you ask it properly.
Yeah. We use it not only for, writing piece of content, but creating images and hey, here's a link to this blog post that I just wrote. I need a graphic, about something in the, whatever stats we have in there, pull stats, create a graphic in this size, use our branded colors, whatever it is. And 9 times out of 10, it comes out perfect on the first try. And I'm like, man, I would have paid like $300-400 for this infographic like 4 years ago. Right now it's free and I could do 10 of them. I could do 100 of them in a day.
Well, the thing is, like you just said, 9 times out of 10. So that's better than it was. It was 4 out of 10 before.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't know how to spell it, you know what I mean? It would be beautiful.
It still makes a stupid mistake.
It'd be a beautiful piece, and then all of a sudden one word's off. And then you have to know how to edit it and clean it. Because I used it to create a ton of my logos. Like I do an Operation Firewalk for veterans, and I had to create that logo, and it's amazing logo.
Yeah.
I have a t-shirt. I have a shop.edparcaut.com. It has to do with all my branding stuff, but I have t-shirts I created that it helped me create. This is I was watching the thing because if you do print on demand, Printful had this whole thing about, and they were talking about how to do stuff. And this guy had a cat. He took a picture of his cat, and I'm sorry, I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog. Anyway, and he created this whole t-shirt, and then the lady's like, oh, that's amazing. I'll be buying so many of them. That's what people buy, is some weird stuff like that. So I was out back at the pool, and I took my hat off, put on my American Bully that I rescued, and I took a picture, and then I had ChatGPT turn it into a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And it was the Summer of George. That's his name. And
I love that.
Yeah. Now
he's nice Seinfeld reference there.
I found him. He was a short, little funny guy. So that's why I called him George when I found him.
Amazing.
And then so it's called it the Summer of George. And then it came up with all these different ideas for him being like a chef and everything else. And I'm like, yeah, that's not really him because he's lazy as fuck.
Yeah.
And so, but now you can sell those shirts. There's so much you can do that you'd have to pay a graphic artist to do. If you know how to tell it you got to tell how you want it to be produced also, and how output everything. Because if you don't, then you're going to get some horrible graphics, and then you have to have it remade, and it's not going to remake the same thing. And I created a logo for my other mortgage company that I'm called Loan Squad, and it's for veterans, serving the ones who served. And the first graphic was pretty good, but then it messed up. And then it created another one, and that was even more better. It was amazing.
Oh, really?
It was messed up better. Yeah. So
okay,
like that was not it.
I feel like I now, when am I going to get the messed up better version?
Yeah,
that would be great.
You can go back to the other one and just try it again.
Yeah.
But no, it's better now. And I find creating graphics for some reason works better on a phone.
For ChatGPT? Honestly, I only use like the voice mode on my phone. I haven't tried it for graphics or anything like that because I feel like I'm on the go, right? I'm not sitting there making graphics.
I used it. So when we did our Operation Firewalk, I used it to do an after action report. Through the whole thing, I said to keep track of this. This is my after action report for Operation Firewalk. I'm just going to tell you things all the way through, and then when I'm done at the end, I have you create an after action report.
Hell yeah!
And so I did all, and that was all voice. Boom, 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 boom. But you can tell it to create a graphic, blah, 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 whatever you want, and it will do it.
You know what I've seen guys doing, and like you're going to be like, this is the laziest fucking thing I've ever heard. Do you golf at all?
No, not anymore.
So one of the most annoying things is like adding up everybody's scores at the end of a round, especially if you're the one keeping score. So I have a buddy who will either take a picture of the scorecard and be like, add all these up, or he'll just be like, okay, Matt got 5, 10, 3, 6, whatever, and just say all the numbers out, add those up, and that gives him a score. I'm like, you have a fucking calculator. Or better yet, you can do it in your head and maybe think for a second, but I'm like, it's just so easy. Like your first impulse, or a lot of people's first impulse now, is not like, it's not going for the phone for the calculator, which, a lot of people had problems with. Like, just think for a second. 7 + 8 is 15. Easy. But now it's like your first impulse isn't, I'm going to go research that. It's like, ChatGPT, tell me about this very specific thing, X, Y, and Z. And then you have the answer, and you don't even have to read it. It reads it out loud to you and whoever else you're with. If you're, at a bar trying to settle a bet kind of thing, read it out, and then you go about your day, go about your life, and you forget that you ever even learned that fact.
I don't know. So it depends on who you are. So for me, I don't forget things. That's my problem. That's my
I never forget.
No, what I mean is I remember things because that's just keyed in my how I can do numbers because I'm in the mortgage industry. I love numbers.
Yeah.
But I use it so I do bank statement loans for business owners.
Yeah.
Which means whatever your deposits are, we add them up over a 12 or 24 month, divide it, and you use a factor, and that's what you are for income per month.
Yeah.
Well, I can input those into a spreadsheet, or I could just drop each one of those PDFs into ChatGPT, tell it to add up all the deposits for each month, put in a column, and then average it over whatever. However, you have to tell it to verify its numbers because it does make mistakes.
Yeah.
It was off like 20 grand on one of mine.
Jesus.
Well, that's not, but
yeah.
I mean, the guy was making $1 million a year, so it was not.
It's not a huge deal, but still.
But it's like, I go, can you verify those numbers? Whoops, I made a mistake. I was off by 20 grand. Okay, well, that's fine. And that's why I tell everybody, whatever you're doing, have it verify numbers for you. If you're doing certain things, verify everything, because it's grabbing the information from out there from us, which we're fallible. We can make mistakes all the time. Yeah, but I use it for my daily podcast. So I do a daily live Monday through Fridays. And I used to take me 2 hours to research for each morning show. And now I just drop in the article links and something else. And it creates my whole thing within a minute.
Yeah. It's so quick. It's so good.
And I use it. So I do VA loans. And what you do is you want to do stuff that you don't remember. Right.
Yeah.
So I have clients who have a VA loan, but they want to buy another house with the VA loan. Well, there is a maximum loan eligibility. It's a factor. Something we have to go research every time we're going to do it because it's not something we use already. Well, I have a GPT now. I just drop in their DD 214 and then it tells me what their maximum loan would be and how much they got to put down.
Yeah. Honestly, like that's a great use case for it. I also will use ChatGPT to summarize content, right? So if something just happened, like let's say there's a Google update that came out, I will put that Google update, I'll copy paste all of it or just the link into ChatGPT and say, how does this impact, XYZ business or small businesses? What are the key things that I need to know? And then I can look at that stuff. And if I want to know more information, I can either go back to that document or I can just ask ChatGPT to break it down further.
Right. Or
and it saves so much time.
You can also give me the relevant where it's located if I need to look at this.
Yeah.
So I had a guy on one of my other podcasts that he wrote a book about this war and all this stuff, and he wanted to give me chapter 15 of something I said. Well, he sent it to me. It was so hard to read. So I dropped in a ChatGPT. I said, summarize this for me. And it did. And it was like, so much smaller, but I would have been pulling my hair out what's left to trying to finalize the rest of that, trying to understand what he was saying, because not everybody still writes well.
Yeah. I mean, I would say most people don't write well. It really is like at my agency, since we're writing content all day before ChatGPT was a thing, like we had to write manually all this content, do all the research and stuff. We still do all that stuff, but ChatGPT just makes it a lot quicker. But I only hire for those roles like creative writing graduates or journalism graduates or anything like that, where they have to have that as a skill. Like that, if you don't have that skill, and trust me, I've tried to train people how to write using ChatGPT. And this one guy was like, dude, it's taking me 8 hours to write a blog post and I'm doing 2 a day. I'm working 16 hours a day. And I'm like, why? I'm like, I went through it with him. I did like an hour on Zoom where I was like, cool, give me the topic you're writing about. I did the research. I found the keywords. I had ChatGPT write the blog post. I edited the blog post, fact checked it, all this kind of stuff, uploaded it to a website, and even made some graphics in like an hour. And he was like, well, it takes me longer to do it. I can't do it that fast. And I'm like, you're overthinking it. Like, just trust what it puts out and then verify it. It's crazy.
Yeah. I use I don't know if it's software or we'll just call it a SaaS for now. Who knows? Cast Magic. Have you used that?
No.
Try Cast Magic. So if you're going to use affiliate link, try castmagic.com. So what it does is I do a lot of podcasting and I need it transcribed and I need titles, I need descriptions, I need all that stuff. Yeah. So I drop my MP3 in there from StreamYard, and it gives me regular titles, SEO titles, and then it gives me everything else I need. SEO keywords, regular keyword, all that. It'll give me my breakdown, my posts for YouTube, my posts for any Instagram stuff I want to do. Because it's instead of having chat do it all, because you can't drop a 30-minute thing into it to have it transcribed. Yeah, it's too long. But they use OpenAI on the software, and it does an amazing job.
Hell yeah.
And so and it's still a point now where I don't even have to tell it who the speakers are. It knows who the speakers are.
Yeah, it's like you're this person. It knows your voice, basically.
Right. And also my co-hosts, I daily do it. But if it's another podcast, it grabs it from my initial title. Also, I know that too. But it does. But it's just because to do that kind of stuff, like I can do 2 podcasts. They was like, you need to hand that stuff off. Well, I can do 2 podcasts in the 30 minutes. And that includes uploading to Libsyn and YouTube and all that information that I need for titles. And that's because I'm taking longer to do it because I'm watching something else while I'm doing it. Right. Yes, I can hand that off. But the question is, what I want, what I'm going to hand off is the cutting up of the podcast into multiple, 3 shorts, a 3-minute and a 5-minute segment to upload it. Additionally, that's what you hand off, which I use Opus Clips for that.
Yeah, Opus Clips is great.
Yeah, and the problem is you don't use it for a month, you come back and go, oh my God, how do I use this now? It's changed so much in those 30 days now that you're like, wow.
I mean, okay, so I think it was November last year, so 8 months ago or something like that, I filmed a course with a friend of mine about meta ads. So basically the Facebook ads manager, we go through, create ads, show you literally all the strategies and everything. And then I went back a couple weeks ago because I don't actually run ads myself anymore. I have my team doing it. And so I'm like just setting up a very basic ad, running traffic to a page. And I'm like, why is this so different? There's so many AI options now. I'm like, all of these are shit. They're terrible. But I'm like, oh, I have to go redo this whole course. Like the content is good, the concepts are good, but the dashboard looks way different and buttons are in different places. And I'm like, why do they keep doing this? It's impossible.
Well, it's like now what you have to do is it's really not. The question really is how do you get chat to find you now? Right. That's where everything needs to go. SEO is great, but that's not what that's not what AI uses to find you. And I was at
in a way.
Yeah,
we'll get into it after.
Let me finish my statement. I was at an event, and the question, they had all these people, I got all these leads because we also do a veterans benefit company, and they were trying to sell me leads from veterans or whatever. And I was talking to the guy that runs the thing, which I know really well, Cossum. And I said, are these companies going to be around in the next year to 2 years with these leads and ads? And he's like, I don't know, because of the way AI is and with the way that each of these engines, because you don't pay for search in ChatGPT or the other ones. They go and find it. So the question is how that's going to look down the road when people don't use Google the way that they use Google.
Yeah. So this just came out yesterday. Are you familiar with what Cloudflare is?
Yeah, I know Cloudflare.
So Cloudflare just announced that, and like for anybody who doesn't know, 20% of all the websites on the internet, which is a lot, run through Cloudflare. They are blocking LLMs and all this, any kind of AIs from crawling your site and using your content in their search results. Right. So that is by default, it's being blocked. You can unblock it if you don't really care or if you want to show up in the results. The other thing is that if you do any kind of search on ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever, it'll tell you where it grabbed all the sources from. Right. So I did a full live of this. I think it just released on YouTube, but where we Google this, like the one guy on the call was like, yeah, let's do caricature artist near me. And I'm like, that's so niche, whatever. There's probably not going to be anybody. So I do that in Google, on Bing, and on ChatGPT, and just to see and compare the results. So in ChatGPT, it's like, here's the top artists. On Google, those were not all the top artists. Some of them were. And then on Bing, it was, pretty similar as well. But I looked at where they're grabbing those sources from on ChatGPT, and I'm like, oh, that site actually ranks second on Google, but it has higher authority and more traffic than these other websites. So if you want to get listed for that term or for that search on ChatGPT, you need to be in that directory, or you need to be on that list. So ChatGPT, as far as we can hypothesize at this point, is they're not crawling the entire internet and saying, oh, I wonder what the best results are going to be here, then developing an algorithm for all of that, because Google already has that, Bing already has that, Yahoo already has that. They're literally, from what it seems, doing Google searches and Bing searches, taking results there, cross-referencing them with what other websites are saying about those topics, and giving you their own results. So yes, it is some kind of algorithm, but they're not doing it from scratch. The results Sorry?
Keep going.
I was going to say the results usually mirror what Google and Bing are doing pretty closely. If not, they're taking stuff from like TripAdvisor or other directories or like those best rated kind of sites, which is crazy.
But they don't give you 100 lists. They give you a few.
They'll give you like top 3, or if you're like, I'm looking for this kind of thing, they might break it down into different categories. Like if you're looking for thrift and antique shops, they'll say, okay, these are thrift shops and these are antique shops, and here are some other shops that may, pique your curiosity.
And if you want to know how to rank in ChatGPT, because I was asking people, do you know how to do it? They're like, well, there's a big, well, just ask it.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no, because you can ask it like a ton
it tells
of stuff,
you it tells you how to rank, how it looks for your stuff if you ask it. One of the things it talks about is the basic thing that used to be the big thing was the schema of your website, which most people are like, that's so old, but that's what it looks for. That looks at that information, but then it'll tell you everything else you need to do to make sure that you'll rank in it, because everybody's like, we don't really know how it's whatever. I'm like, that's funny. Just ask the damn thing.
Yeah.
And it worked. I'm telling you, it's not going to hide it from you. It ain't that smart.
I disagree. I don't think it's going to tell you exactly how. Like if I was like, I
Dude,
want
have
to
you
show up
asked
for
it?
this. Yes.
And okay, when did you
And
ask it last? Because I asked it like a month ago.
yeah, I do this stuff like I'm constantly making videos and testing and doing all this stuff because I want to be able to give the best results and the best information to my audience. So I'm constantly doing this stuff. I don't remember exactly when it was, but
I would tell
it'll give you
you and ask it what those things are, and then go do that and see if you rank.
okay.
Right, make a fake site, right? And that's not really big.
Yeah,
It doesn't have everything, and just do what it says to do. It does say that it still goes and checks Google. Your Google
yeah,
page, like you're supposed to have your business page in Google. It
yeah.
tells me for that, but it was really basic stuff. And because we were talking, there was a plastic surgeon who was got recommended by ChatGPT to its
Mhm.
client, and he was
Yeah.
like, "I didn't do anything."
Well, like it is still a lot of the fundamentals of SEO, like creating helpful content and content that is actually useful to real people, right? That part of the issue with AI being able to write all this content is people are abusing it and they're publishing like 100 pieces of content a day or 1,000 a month or whatever it is. And you're like, no legitimate business website is going to be publishing 100 blog posts or 100 pages in a day or in a month, like maybe a couple a week, right? How are you going to have quality content if you're doing 100 in a day or even 100 in a month? That's a lot.
Yeah. So a couple of things that it'd say to do is make sure you have questions on your website that people ask. The
Yep.
other thing is to write LinkedIn articles.
Yes and no for LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is great.
But
But
I'm telling you, it's what it said to do to write
what
it is to
one of
have
the things
an
that
article.
people
Yeah.
one of the things that people do is they'll take an article that they have on their website and they'll republish that exact same article on LinkedIn.
I didn't say do that.
No, I know. I'm just cautioning against that because I did have clients who were doing that and they're like, "What? I thought I was getting, more backlinks and stuff from LinkedIn." And I was like, "No, you're cannibalizing your content.
Yeah.
It's
No,
crazy."
it says to have write articles for that. That
Yep.
would help you. It didn't say take what's on your website and put it into an article and put it on.
Gotcha.
It was talking about that's what I think people have not used LinkedIn like they should be using LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
you see, everybody's like, I'm on Instagram. I got all these followers. Followers doesn't do anything. The likes don't do it. It doesn't pay
Yeah.
the bar tab. It's about, but go where the business is. The business is on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So one thing that I will say is with like Cloudflare and a lot of web hosts blocking traffic from LLMs, your social profiles, including LinkedIn, Instagram, all this, even your Google business profile, are going to become more valuable in helping you show up in ChatGPT because all of those sites are like, yeah, crawl us, right? Use this information. So if you are publishing articles to LinkedIn, for example, and say your website is blocked from or is blocking LLMs, then you can still rank in them. They can still recommend you, especially with your Google business profile. That's going to become more and more important.
I agree. The problem is we have no idea yet. This is like the
The
web,
Wild West.
like the web when it came out back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to change the world. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just another form of communication. Same that
100%.
it's just we're going to figure out how it's going to play out. There's going to be so many companies go bankrupt, all this stuff from all this stuff. But the question really is which AI is going to stick around the most, and which it's usually the one that's adopted first. That's why ChatGPT is being used so much because it was adopted first.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, Matt, how do people find you?
Just Google my name or go on any social platform and look up Matt Diamante. I need to say this because there are people trying to be me and scam people on Instagram, TikTok, all the platforms, basically. I will never try to sell you Bitcoin. I will never try to get you to invest. I will always have the profile that has the most amount of followers on those platforms. So yeah, Matt Diamante on whatever you want.
All right, there you go. All right, I appreciate you being on the show today and talking the whole AI thing with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you. Again, go check out Matt Diamante. Is it at heytony.agency?
That's what it is on Instagram. It's every platform is different, which is a thing that I tell my clients: make sure that all your handles are the same.
I was going to say,
Mine are all different.
yeah, we need to do what you say or say
Yeah.
what you do. Yeah. Stop being a hypocrite there, Matt.
Yeah.
All right. Make it a great day. Thanks for being here. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Ed Redison podcast. I want to thank Matt Diamante for sharing his insights on AI, digital marketing, and staying ahead of the rapidly changing tech landscape. Don't forget to check out Matt on social. Just search his name, and remember, make it a great day.